What is up, guys? This is going to be a bit of a tidbit trick for inspection, mostly applicable to color neutral solvers, but can also be useful if you're a white and yellow solver, and also even just a single cross solver, but not in the way that I'm going to explain it, at least at parts. So this is within the framework of color neutrality. There's examples on all colors, or a bunch of colors rather. But yeah, this is a pretty useful tidbit of information for CFOP solvers, which is, the method I talk about on this channel. I don't do ROO. So, whatever. Anyways, this is to do with inspection, more specifically when you see an F2L pair, a built pair, not a split pair like that. These are obviously very hard to see in inspection. Pardon me. But you don't necessarily see a good cross for that pair. So, like this orange cross is got flipped edge, these in weird positions, this one's over here. Doesn't necessarily look that great. And then you look at other colors, like green looks like it has better potential, yellow, red, even blue. But we can still make something work pretty nicely on orange. I haven't necessarily checked the other colors. There's good crosses there to be sure, but cross plus un we can't be too certain about. However, we do actually have a lot of flexibility when it comes to these built pairs. And that's kind of what I'm going to show you with these examples, how even in seemingly awkward situations you can, with enough creativity, come up with something pretty good for a cross plus one when you see this kind of pair. And the reason I want to make this point is because people, especially color neutral people, they will filter for stuff like this or this, but they won't necessarily filter for pairs. But as I'm going to show, there are a lot of cases where it can actually work out quite well. So this orange cross, we got these two in awkward positions. What we're going to do is we're going to swing this edge so that it ends up over here while bringing this edge up into a slightly nicer position with like a B prime, R2 prime. Then we can put this cross edge in correct relation to this edge with an F, and then a D, and then we have this little scenario with this pair and then this cross edge. This cross edge is here as well, but we don't care too much about it. So what we can do is we can insert this cross edge with R prime FR, and as you can see, even though we had a built pair before, a split pair like this is still quite good. And that's kind of what I mean by flexibility. Oftentimes through your cross solutions you can like break it up and then like later with maybe another cross edge pair them up again, just things like that. So we could end with like R prime F, L2, U prime R, something like that. We could even just do like R prime FR, L2, R prime U prime R. It's the same thing, just without cancellations. I'm just kind of showing you that you don't have to be completely fancy with it. It can still work out quite well. It just so happens to cancel in this case. Could even do R prime F, U prime R, and then deal with that cross edge. So that's just one example of where a seemingly bad cross surrounding a pair can actually turn out quite well. Another one, we have white cross. So we have this white pair, cross edge, cross edge, cross edge, cross edge. This one's flipped. These two aren't in great relation to each other, nor are these two. These are in a good spot though, but this flipped edge will have to be dealt with. And then we have this pair here. So what I see here, and when you start out, it doesn't seem as though this pair ends up in a good spot, so I would do these two cross edges and then put this in the back. L, and then R2, B prime, R prime. And I would do it in that order instead of doing this cross edge after, because this is how we preserve the pair. And then normally we would finish with like an F prime D to save that move, but then that puts the pair in a annoying spot. So what we can do instead is an F, and then D prime L, D2, and there you have a pretty good cross setup. I think it was like 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's an 8-move cross, not great, but you get a free pair out of it. And again, other colors might not necessarily have even had a good cross. I know I didn't like go over all the other colors obviously, but when I first did that hand screen, I didn't really see anything for the other colors. So another example, so this one's another one where there's some crosses where a color neutral solver might filter for all of these before filtering for the orange cross, which again has basically nothing going for it. And also this pair is in a pretty awkward spot in my opinion, because we've got this cross edge, this one here, this one over here. They're not in bad spots necessarily, it's just not completely obvious how to deal with this pair. But what I would see is you could do U prime to bring this edge down with this one, L, and then F prime to put that in like that. Before we do anything else, we're actually going to just move this pair up like that, ignoring this one. We're just looking at this pair here, the yellow and green. And then we have a 2-gen finish with these cross edges. So we can do like a DLD and then a U2L like that. Then we get another pair, but again, that doesn't matter. Point is, if you only filter for those easy cross edges, like I said, sometimes you can miss out on pretty nice cross plus ones that you would see if you just filter for pairs instead. And then this last example, this is another good example of, there's basically no like easy cross on any side. There's like this one edge, but then you look at white and it's, I mean, there's X cross potentially. You can do like da da da, D prime, U prime, keyhole. But again, if that wasn't there, then we would see blue. And blue is pretty good as well. So what I would see here, let me just remember. Okay, so I did it from this angle. And this is another example of where like you can kind of break up the free pair, but also, you know, either reattach it later or just have like the split type of free pair. So these two cross edges I would do with like an R2 prime FR, temporarily splitting up that pair, and then these two cross edges with like a D, L2, and you can either do U F prime, or you can do U prime F prime. Again, you have a lot of options, and then you can just insert that pair, and then go about the rest of your solve as normal. So that's just a bit of a tidbit on how you can filter your crosses a bit differently if you're low on options, or if you're not liking the options that are presented to you. And at times it can lead to slightly better, just better cross plus ones. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say for this one. I'm just going to solve all these cubes because, you know, I like solving cubes. It's a good time. What do we have here? Oh yeah, this is the free pair, and then another free pair. That top cube. So yeah, that's all for this one. Hope you guys learned something. Hope this gives you a little something to think about with how you inspect, especially the color neutral guys. And yeah, thanks for watching.